Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Tony from Tony's Tech Repairs, and I wanted to take the time to make a different kind of video from tech repairs and from talking about electronics and focusing more on something that's near and dear to my heart. And that would be the fact that we are now entering another college year. And for the college year of 2025 through 2026, a lot has changed, with AI getting more advanced and with the world turning in certain ways. It just seems to be very, atypical for what we've seen in times past. But I kind of want to hone into the fact that it's also a very different world for me versus when I started going to college. Now, if you wanted to take a guess at my age, you can drop the number in the comments below. Maybe I'm an old man, maybe I'm younger than you think, but really, I'm 26 years old, all jokes aside. And when I went to college back in 2017, starting back then, the world was different. I mean, it's not like we're talking, oh, back in my day on Grandpappy's farm when he put me on his knee and then he told me to go pick the crops and go take care of the animals. No, we're talking about like back in 2017 when AI really wasn't a thing compared to how it is now. You know, education, thought process, how you perceived, how you learned, how you did anything in college was different. I mean, forget online college being a norm, forget hybrid college being the standard, and forget flexibility of all these programs and everything, or AI helping you with your stuff. I'm from the generation where we had check.com when you really didn't know what you were doing. To my alma mater professors, I'm just saying hypothetically, but we had Chegg, we had the homework helpers, we had Quizlet. Our phones weren't filled with AI and all that kind of stuff compared to what we have now. You actually were more in person most of the time when it came to going to college. You actually could spend time with your peers if you went to community college or a state university versus doing things online and working at the same time. Because for me, what I really wish is that I had found a video that kind of elaborates what I would do differently as a college freshman to give onto other freshmen. In other words, though there are many videos, of course, that explain like what I would do differently as a freshman to help you have a better experience, back then I didn't think about that. I just was like, wow, college is new, I have to do this, and I feel like by doing this I'm fulfilling a familial obligation of bettering my life for the future, taking the torch that my family's giving to me, and doing a good job for my future in studying, pursuing a degree. I want to make this video for a simple point. This is about what I would do differently in the new landscape of college if I was a freshman starting over, that maybe could help you if you're wondering what to do as a freshman. But this is also applicable to the sophomores and juniors and maybe even the seniors, because maybe you're at a point where in your college journey you're having problems at whatever grade level, mainly for freshmen and sophomores, but could be juniors and seniors too, that you're like, okay, I am trying to figure out what to do next, or I'm trying to figure out how to start, but I don't know what I'm doing. I could just chat GPT the answers and take a generic response, but instead I want to give you kind of a heart-to-heart. And I'll make it as concise as I can, but spoiler alert, my fiance always tells me, and I love her to pieces, I'm a yapper. I'll try to keep it straight to the point and I'll try to focus, but if I yap too much, just let me know in the comments, give me that feedback, and we'll go from there, okay? So feel free to skip ahead if I'm just doing this too much, and let's go. So, if I was a freshman again, and considering the landscape, the first thing I would do is I would take the time to focus only on my requisites and not trying to hype into I'm going to settle for this major and that's it. Let me tell you why. When I first went for my freshman year, I had a desire to be a video editor because I thought to myself, if I could get really good at this, I could make movies or edit stuff or edit projects, blah, blah, blah. It was my passion at the time, making crappy little videos that some people liked, but I wasn't really talented to make a killing with it, so I made like $5 off YouTube, and I thought, wow, that was great. But when I was younger, it's what entertained me. It gave me this sense of identity and belonging, and it was just a passion of mine. Could I get back into it now? Who knows? I mean, I'm recording a video now because I just feel like it, but I'm not making a motion picture like a Spielberg, so, right? But let's just put it this way. My passion was my ideal. I didn't pick my passion. Instead, I opted for the moneymaker, cybersecurity. Now, I am a tech guy, but I'm not a mathematically or scientifically inclined tech guy. See, I can take apart a phone, back and forth and everything, open it up. Oh, this is my fiance, by the way. Her name's Honey. I love you so much, Honey. Leave a like for Honey, I guess, right? But seriously, I could take apart this phone, tell you what's wrong on the inside, diagnose it, etc., etc. If you know me as a Tony's Tech Repairs client, you know what I do. And even this phone, I bought this iPhone for, I think it was $550. I put the new screen on here when it was cracked. and I replace parts in there as needed, and I have a 1 terabyte iPhone 14 Pro. So saved a lot of money doing that because I'm a technician. But when you're doing something like cybersecurity that's scientifically inclined, it's like, well, you better know what you're doing with the math and science, because if you can't do it on the basic level, you're just not going to get the job. You're not going to get it at all. And so when I went for that major, because I was money focused, instead of thinking about the reality check of, can I actually handle it? Do I have the skill sets to do it? Can it relate to my passion in some way that I can use the skills of my passion, the fruits of my labor in that regard, and apply myself to a good career? Well, I screwed myself up. I let my pride and ego go before me, and I fell. I fell really hard. In fact, when I wasn't good at what I was doing in college, I gave up. I said, I can't do this. I suck. I have a fear of failure, so I'm just going to fail because I'm a perfectionist. Maybe that was the case, or it was more, I'm giving up on myself because I'm not good at this. And that's the first thing I want to tell you as a college freshman, or any stature in your college, pursuits. Don't give up just because you're not good at something. If you've made, especially, let's start this way. If you've made a lot of progress in your degree and you're close to finishing, just keep trying and take a step back and evaluate what is going wrong realistically. Are you setting yourself up for failure by not focusing on your studies? Are you studying erratically? Are you doing too much cramming and less qualitative studying of digesting the information, letting it soak and marinate? It's kind of like cooking. If you don't marinate your steaks properly, right, they're not going to taste good. They're going to be dull and bland. And that's your head right there. If you're cramming all this crap into there and not letting it process, not letting it replicate so that you can repeat the same information in your own verbiage. Oh, nice. Nice mics right there. See, that's my distraction. But if you don't do that, if you don't let that information marinate in you, you're not going to study well, you're not going to get it right, and then you're going to be nervous, you're going to be messing, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't do it, I'm going to fail college, oh my God. And I'm saying that literally because I've been in your shoes. I felt that kind of failure. There were things that I got so desperate and sad about in my life I don't want to talk about here, but I've been to that low of rock bottom. I remember my first year, because I didn't know what I was doing aside from people pleasing. I'm going to go to college, make my family proud. Not necessarily a bad thing, of course, but when it's not focused on your future, you get directionless. I didn't focus, I didn't stay determined, I didn't lock in, I didn't do any of that. And so I went kind of just going with the tidal waves in any which way direction, and I shipwrecked my life right there within the first 2 years. My GPA at my lowest point in community college was a 1.73. Because I didn't focus on the basics in the beginning. I kept thinking way ahead of myself, thinking I'm going to be there, but I'm over here. So when I was doing the cybersecurity stuff, I kept saying to myself, I'm going to focus on getting that money, making my family proud. And I'm going to be this big cybersecurity guy making $75,000, working a government job, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, that's over there. You can't even see my hand right now. I'm over here in the beginning, and I'm barely even cracking open through requisites. My first semester, I think I only passed Welcome to College 101. I don't know if I was really dumb. I just think I wasn't focused. And that's when I want to give you that hope, is that if you're not focusing, well, of course you're going to fail, but you shouldn't give up. Instead, to avoid failure, talking to the freshmen and the sophomores, and the juniors too, for this semester coming back, instead of focusing on your failure too, use it as a reflection point, but take the time to consider why you're going. Take the time to consider, what is my plan today? What is my plan this semester before I get to the next semester? So very critical to hone in on. My point in saying this is this. Your first semester, your first year for this school year should be focused on establishing the understanding of how the college works, what to expect of difficulty in the beginning, how to navigate the systems, how to navigate help support systems like tutoring centers or talking to the professors, understanding their psychology and how they deal with you, good or bad or in between, and using good tools to your advantage to teach yourself, not shorting yourself out by cheating. Because that's another thing too. Let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. I know everybody's just going to go use ChatGPT, because I use ChatGPT. I even use it at work, not to cheat at work, but actually to teach myself stuff or to understand processes of work when I don't get it, whether it be diagnosing error codes on the tech repair job or in my current position as a data analyst, which in another video I'll tell you how a dimwit like me could get that, right? Well, the point is that if you're just going straight to ChatGPT to get the answers, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to get the solution, but the problem is, it's like I talked about earlier, you're not letting the information marinate. And so your first semester needs to focus on naturally accruing the skills to do your job. It's about naturally being able to pick up a book, okay, and just opening it up and being able to read the material. I'm grabbing a book as an example because my literature of choice is How to Lose Weight, because I'm a little chunky right now, but it's literally taking the time to decompress from all the dopamine of your phone, all the dopamine of TikTok, Spotify, whatever you're doing, okay? Social media, whatever. Gaming, I've been there. So I'm not saying this to be like you dang kids. Bro, I was a kid myself. I'm 26. I know it because I'm still distracted at times and I have a hard time reading. But it's taking this book, taking this material, and just calmly relaxing and reading and locking in. You have to find a way to relax your mind to focus on that. You have to eliminate the distractions. Like when you're done watching this video, at whatever point you're watching it, take a deep breath, relax, and think about what is the one thing you can get done right now. Because the more you focus on this one thing you have to get done right now, you can focus on how to break that into parts to accomplish it, fulfill it, everything, you know, top to bottom, and then move on to the next thing. That's your semester in a nutshell, and that is your whole program. You look at your whole program and you say, I want to become a lawyer. Well, to become a lawyer, I have to do my prereqs in my first semester. And then during that time, I'm going to go through discovery. I might go through some college fairs or some program events, talk to my program lead and ask them questions, get to understand what are my options, what are the opportunities for majors, and I may change my mind. But if I focus on my requisites to get the baseline out of the way, well, then congratulations to me. I now have an opportunity to do anything I want up until a certain point when I start to invest in my program of choice. See, like I said, if we hone back to what I wanted when I was a freshman, I didn't do what I wanted, and I also did something that wasn't right either. Because the problem was, I was too much head in the clouds, only focused on video editing. That's also why I was failing. I kept making crappy videos for no reason. And I kept thinking, I need to just make a lot of money to make my family proud. How about meeting in the middle? Taking your passions of editing or using social media or using computer skills and honing it into a position that could be more inclined to the reality check of what life is all about. You know, having to make money to provide for your needs, but also having something to do with your skill sets on the side to incorporate into a good position. Let me make this simpler because I might just be doing too much of this. I'm sorry. But to make it as simple as I can, you may not always get to do your dream job going to college, but you can take the skills from your dream job or your hobbies and apply them to a future career in some capacity. You know, when it comes to my video editings and talents, I use that in my marketing for Tony's Tech Repairs, or I use it for my communication skills, which kind of laughable if I'm doing this, I know, but you know, I use it in my communication skills to learn how to write emails, how to write essays, how to write, you know, scripts and programs and stuff like that. And when I say programs, it's more for my analytical job. We'll talk about that later, but all this is to say is that I can take the tedious process of being able to sit at a computer, editing, looking for fine details, parsing and presenting something, and encapsulate it into a skill set to apply to, say, my business degree or my communications degree. It's the same thing with you. Maybe you're good at cars. Maybe you're good at, you know, fixing, you know, vehicles. Maybe you're good at designing clothing and all that kind of stuff. You take the skills of your hobby, even gaming. There are some aspects of gaming like strategizing and teamwork and all that kind of stuff and collaboration. But you take the skills of your hobbies and pastimes that can actually be, you know, influential for your future, and you apply them to a decent career that you can say, I could tolerate that enough to enjoy it. And I don't mean enjoy it like it's a wonderful thing in the world, although it would be nice. It's something where you can say, I'm willing to do the job and I'm willing to go to work for it. If the boss or the coworkers are too much to handle, that's a factor that you never know what you're going to get. But if the physical or mental work that I am doing is something I can do, then that's good enough. Because later on in life, you could always branch off and try and take the risk and do your own thing. But that's not now. Right now, you're going to go to college. You may be nervous. You may be fearful. You may be saying, I don't know what I want to do. And I'm here to tell you that's okay. But don't let the fear wallow you up. If you're especially first time going to college, enjoy the first semester, but stay focused. So all this is to really say is that if this is your first time going to college or this is now your fourth year, just focus on this semester. I guess this whole point of this first video is to say this and getting to know a little bit about me is that what I wish I did in the beginning was that I wished I had focused on how to start to get to where I need to be. So I would say if you're starting off, make sure you're inclined to know, you know, who your program directors are, who your program counselor is, if that's how they call them. Get to know your professors, if they're really nice. If they're hard to deal with, just stay professional. Otherwise, get on their good side in a good way. Learn from them. Ask them questions about what they see in successful students. Try to equip yourself to be the best student you can be, and get to know how your first semester is. If you don't do good your first semester, that's okay. Learn from it. Take notes about what's hard. Are the classes too fast-paced? Are you not focusing in areas by spending time too much with your friends that you're just getting to meet, or getting to spend too much time on the campus? Decompress your mind of all the dopamine and crap that you consume and focus on the material as much as you can, but take breaks. Treat yourself to rewards when you do a good job. Remind yourself that this is not the only thing in life that I have to do, but for now, I am focusing on this goal until I'm done. And so if you do all of that in your first semester, your likelihood to succeed is going to be high, because if you're just focusing on requisites, if you're just focusing on what you need to focus on, depending on what grade level you are too, and you take the time to invest in the proper tools with tutoring centers, with extra help, with researching, good tools that you can use to train yourself to be a better learner, not to train yourself to just get answers instantaneously. Looking at you, ChatGPT and Gemini, you can do well. It's not impossible. College doesn't have to be a scam if you can play the game it's given you. If it's like Monopoly, you can't get upset if you keep losing if you don't buy the property. Okay, you can't just roll the dice and collect go over and over and over and over again. You're going to lose that way when you get shysted by all these people who have their houses and their property fronts, etc. To beat the game, you got to play the game. And so to play the game in college, it's to understand you can have fun, you can goof off here and there, but you have to control your urges and desires to just not focus and lock in. Okay? Whether it be on campus, off campus, or even online only if you're just not being self-disciplined. Okay? I'll be making more videos on this in response to whatever comments I get, if I get any. I'm going to try to see if the algorithm will pick me up. And I would like some feedback if you'd like to know more and to understand, like, what can you do better in college? What could I provide as a source of human wisdom? And the reality is, I say that to say this. I'm just a regular guy. I have a job. I have an MBA. And I can tell you it took me 7 years to get that, with hard work and discipline, after failing for 2.5 years, getting my butt handed to me every single time by, professors and my own family when I kept screwing up. I learned a lot of life lessons and harsh lessons having to pay college myself. And I really want to help anybody I can. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and follow me. And just leave me questions. I want to actually make videos answering questions, short form, long form. And I just want to see if I can help people to have a better semester than how I started, so they can leave more educated and stronger. And I also can learn from you as well. I'm not just here to teach. I want to learn from you as well what the world is like. We're all getting older, and at the end of the day, if you stop learning, well, you're not going to make it. So thanks for taking the time to watch me yap about this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And if not, just let me know in the comments, and I'll do better. Have a good one, and God bless.